Hey guys, what's up? Normally I don't do videos about stories in the news because most of what the news is, if anybody reads Yahoo News now, most of it is sports related crap. I mean, it's just every every other story is something to do with football or golf, or there's more going on in sports now than there is anything else in the world that apparently is worth mentioning on headline news. So I don't ever bother really to read the news anymore because I just get sick of hearing about scandal and all this other bullshit that's in the National Football League. These coaches got caught molesting kids, and this quarterback apparently played too good a football when he was in high school, or blah 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 blah. I don't care about all that shit. None of the stuff that really matters in this world is even on the news anymore. Like real world problems, like you don't hear about politicians maybe outlawing something like taxes or something. No, you don't hear any of that stuff. It's just we all believe that the way the world is now is the way it always has been and the way it always will be. So we don't bother to change anything because we believe that the system that's in place works, and yes, it works to a certain degree, but if you look around, you'll realize that there are a lot of problems that in our society that are a result of this system, and it works to a certain degree, and it only works for a certain group of people. And has anybody seen the story in Yahoo News about the woman in Illinois that has been in court for the last 2 years over this case against a company she used to work for, a company that she had worked for 10 years, and then she got fired because she worked through her lunch break one day. This company requires its employees to take a 30-minute lunch break, and just out of the goodness of her heart, she decided to work through her lunch break one day off the clock. She worked off the clock, okay, people? She worked off the clock. She clocked out, and then she kept working, okay? So they weren't even having to pay her for the work she was doing, okay? And then they gave her the axe. The same day, they fired her for working through her lunch break. This is so stupid. Like, first of all, I don't know how this makes headline news. I don't see how some measly court case in Illinois makes it to the front page on Yahoo, but hey, it's there, so I'm going to bring it to your attention. This is something that it just boggles me. It astounds me that I cannot, for the life of me, work out the company's reasoning for firing her. I mean, there is no logical reason for it. If she's been there for 10 years and she was a hard-working employee, well, it's obvious that she was a hard-working employee because she worked through her lunch break. It's something so meaningless, something so trivial. It's not like this woman was embezzling money from this company. It's not like this woman was stealing staplers or stealing copiers or stealing computers. No, she was working for this company for nothing, for free. She was doing all of this work for free. There is no reason why. If anything, she should get a pay raise. She shouldn't get the axe. The other story I want to talk about is the cruise liner that sank near Italy. Okay, I don't know if any of y'all have been following this, okay, but as most of you already know, the captain, hot-tailed it off the ship before any of the passengers were off. And then this story was on Yahoo today about he got into an argument with a Coast Guard officer. And the Coast Guard officer was insisting on the captain returning to the ship, which he shouldn't have left anyway. I don't know how familiar people are with the first law of the sea, but the first law of the sea says that the captain is always the last man off the ship. If the captain has to go down with the ship, then it's his job in that time of emergency. It's the captain's job to ensure that his crew are safely off the ship and make it, they're not going to a watery grave. That's his job in that time of crisis. His job is not to be the first one to dry land and say, screw the rest of y'all. No, that's not the way the captain is supposed to behave in that time of need. Anyway, the Coast Guard officer kept insisting on this captain returning to the ship, and the captain, the whole conversation was translated and it was on Yahoo News. And the way this captain was talking to this Coast Guard officer, I can't decide whether or not this guy was drunk off his ass or if he was just fucking stupid. It's ridiculous. The comments this captain was saying, it was just, so you want me to go back on board? Yes, go back on board and tell me how many people are there and how many people need help. There are already bodies in the water. People are hurt. Please tell me who needs help on your ship. So you want me to go on board my ship that's sinking and there's people hurt, and do you like Domino's? It's unbelievable, okay? And if that wasn't enough, okay, what really threw me over the edge and just flat out, I had to do a video about this, was the captain of the ship is facing manslaughter charges. It's already been determined pretty much that he deliberately steered the ship to the coastline to sink it. And he's facing manslaughter charges now, okay? They are saying that he could face up to 15 years in prison. 11 people have already died. 11 people have already recovered 11 bodies, people that are dead from this sunk cruise liner, and this imbecile is going to get 15 years? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? 15 years? He sinks a fucking cruise liner deliberately, 11 people are dead, possibly more, and he gets 15 years? Just 15 years? Drug dealers get more time than that. People who murder their spouses get more time than that. How does this guy getting off the hook so easily? It's unreal to me. How does this happen? This guy has no sense of loyalty to his crew. He has no regard for human life. He only cares about himself. He doesn't follow the first law of the sea when his ship is in peril. How is this guy getting off the hook with only 15 years? This guy's going to be in prison for 15 years. He's going to get out, and then he's going to captain another vessel, and then we're going to have another one at the bottom of the sea. Next time, we may not be so lucky that the ship will be so close to the shoreline that the ship can't sink all the way underwater. That's why the ship is still jutted up out of the water like that. It's because the water is so shallow. The ship has already sank. It's already at the bottom. It's just resting on the seabed. That's why it's still sticking up out of the water. I can't believe that. It leaves me speechless to think that a man who is responsible for 4,000 lives and a billion-dollar cruise liner sinks the ship deliberately. You know, he deliberately steers the ship off course. He rams it into some rocks and sinks the ship. 11 people are dead. He jumps ship before making sure his crew are okay and his passengers are okay. And then he plays ignorant to a Coast Guard officer, and he faces manslaughter charges and gets away with only 15 years? You've got to be kidding me. Is this how the justice system works now? It's just like you can get away with 15 years for